So what are we expected to do? The first item, I will ignore it because that one will take care of it in studio, okay? So what we need to do, and we'll start this ones today, is to know how to set up basic settings, know how to set up the attribute settings, understand the basics of Archicad. Sorry, there's someone disturbing me here with the phone. I don't know why you feel. So I was saying we'll understand the basics, especially how do you maneuver in Archicad, okay? And if you're able to do this task now, should we do an actual building in BIM 2B? You'll find it very easy, okay? How to use the navigator. Then modeling. And for me, my interest will be using the creative tools, not the basic tools. Will not handle wall, will not handle beam, will not handle column in this term. But we'll use the morph, we'll use the shell. We'll see how do we handle the various transformative activities, the same ones that we have in our studio. How do we use a connect tool to assist us do addition, subtraction, merging, the staircase, ignore it. And then how do we document those things, okay? So the emphasis this term will be laid on how to use the morph tool and how to use the shell tool and how to use the connect, okay? If you're able to succeed in those three things, for me, we'll have sorted out a lot of things, okay? We'll do some visualization. I will introduce one of my colleagues who does professional visualization. He will take you through the process, okay? And most importantly, how do you present your work? What I've shown you in Pinterest is work of people who have published their work. I always ask myself, why is it that I don't stumble on Okapesi's work on Pinterest? Why is it that I don't stumble on Kagiri's work on Pinterest? Why is it that I cannot see Faith's work on Pinterest? One, because maybe you have no idea. Two, maybe our work is too bad. In our case, definitely that's not the case because we have not done it, okay? I want us to do some very beautiful things that you can easily showcase, okay? And I'll tell you, nowadays, most people, that's how they get work. If I need an abstract thing, like an abstract chair, and I see you can do these things and visualize, and you have displayed it on Pinterest, people will look for you, and there are people who live that way, okay? So I want us to, first of all, gain interest on these things of technology. Let's not appreciate, I will give an example like TikTok nowadays, because that's the in thing for the millennials. Let's not appreciate the various videos being placed on TikTok, yet you yourself, you can be a content creator. Why can't we see you making a model? Why can't we see you presenting? Why can't we see you modeling in BIM and giving us interesting? I mean, I know, as I said, some of you can really be good at these things if you want to. And for me, as I always say, if you give me a chance, we'll be able to work together and you'll do the best that you had never thought of, okay? But that will just happen if you do your part, okay? So in terms of course outline, that is what we are going to cover, okay? This is a template. Now this template is what we'll use to do our work, okay? This template is deliberate, it's sort of blank because we need to start building up on all the items, all the attributes that we need in our file, okay? So it's normally deliberate. In the event that, now you'll have this platform and you'll go to new, okay? And on the new, you'll be asked whether you want to start a new project based on which template. So Archicad 24 is the default template. I don't want you to use Archicad 24. I want you to use the one that I've shown you. So you'll browse and you look for that template where you'll have saved it. Again, it's important that you do two things. One, you create a folder where you'll do all your BM2A work. Don't splatter everything on your computer. Number two, use the various cloud services. We have various cloud tools. One is OneDrive. We have Dropbox. We have Google Drive. The beauty is that if you're using Windows 10 or Windows 11, OneDrive is embedded into your computer. Ensure that whatever you do is saved within the OneDrive. Okay, maybe if you remind me on Friday, I can take you through that process. And always strive as much as possible to have access to Wi-Fi, maybe once or twice per week, so that the beauty about OneDrive is that once it accesses Wi-Fi, it synchronizes everything. So what does that mean? It means that in the worst case scenario, should you lose your computer, should your computer crash, should anything happen to the file that you are working with, then you have a recourse of accessing something that was updated 2 or 3 days ago. I'm saying this because the students who even during exam, they come to me and tell me my computer crashed. I will be honest with you, I never take that one as an excuse. Because having shown you how to use cloud technology, we should not have a situation where you lose everything, okay? An ideal situation, if you have access to Wi-Fi 24/7, always run it so that anytime you open a file and close it, as long as you have access to Wi-Fi, it will upload itself, okay? The beauty that these things happen on the background, so it does not in any way interfere with your work. So it's just like any other folder. The only thing that folder is synchronized to your cloud account, okay? So please, please, please ensure that you take care of that. Now, you'll notice that we have various file types, and the only file type for the template is a .tpl, okay? So this is the template. So if I click it and say select, there it is. Work environment, just choose the default for now. With time, the software will pick up your profile and create a profile for you. You see, the beauty of cloud is that even right now, I can access files that I worked on in 2019. Okay? Files that I worked on in 2019, I can access them. And in fact, let me just download it right away. As you can see, it's this one lower version. I've just renamed it lower version for me to not confuse them. Trying to get it is okay. Now I'll do it again. So I'll say file new. Now instead of this one, I'll use the one that I've just downloaded. Okay. This one lower version. So I'll go through the same process. Okay. If I, as you can see, this one was done in Archicad 22. Okay. Since 22 is inferior to 24, it will easily open. So let it open. Now there it has opened. Can someone kindly confirm that they can see my screen before I proceed on? Because I might be just talking to myself.
Yes, Molimo, it's clear.
Fine, thank you. Now, the first thing that you always do is to save your file, okay? So you'll say file save as, and then let me create a folder here called demonstration. That all files that I create during demonstration or in our lecture, we use it. Now, I'm always very particular on how you save your file, okay? Particular so that in terms of audit, it becomes very easy for me and the external examiner, okay? And how do we save your file? You save your file by writing your surname, putting a dash, and then your registration number, okay? So for me, let's assume that I'm EAAE. One thing you'll notice that slash is not allowed when saving a file. So I'll say EAE-0001-2020, okay? So with that, I will have saved my file, okay? Now, along the way, we learn the various types of files, okay? And most importantly, we'll know the difference between an archive and a solo project, okay? So when you're working, it will always be on a solo project, okay? Now, strive to have one solo project file throughout the term. I'm saying this because some of us surely save so many that when it starts confusing you. Mara utapata Oyuga revised 1, Oyuga revised 1, Oyuga revised nikilala, Oyuga revised nikisumbuliwa. So at the end of the day, by the time you're looking for a specific file, you even have no idea it's where. So you spend almost 2 hours looking for a specific file, okay? To avoid that, we normally use one solo project file where you'll be doing your work, but along the way, you can do what I call freezing the moment, okay? And you can freeze it using the archive, right, together. So most of the times we'll use the PLN and we'll use the archive, okay? Now, for my case right now, because I'm still using 24 while you're using 25, so your file name is very important. Please ensure that you save it properly. Any question up to that point? So if I quickly skim through, we have what we call the tabs, we have the tools, we have the navigator, okay? We have the workspace. We have what we call floating palettes. Like mine, you'll see these ones, but yours, they might not be necessarily these ones, okay? So along the way, we'll interact with these things. Again, I always say a good student will be inquisitive. Don't wait for me. Just do something. Just do something and just click and see what happens, okay? So you can have like your homework file where you just do your own things. Try, if I click this and select this and go to options and try do this, what happens, okay? That's the best way of learning. For me, I always say I'm just scratching the surface. I'm just giving you 5%. The 95% is for you to fly outside there and explore and give it your best. So now, with this, I think we have finished the first task. And that task was loading the template file. Now for project info, now it's always critical that we have information about your project. Why is it important? Now, maybe right now you might not see the sense because the file that you're working on, you'll be working on it you yourself, okay? However, when you go for your external IBL, when you start practicing outside here, you'll realize that you rarely do a project alone. If you find yourself doing a project from start to finish alone, consider yourself extremely selfish, okay? And God forbid, should anything happen to you, and anything might be just even getting better opportunities, might be just relocating, that project will suffer simply because the background information about that project is not there, okay? So to avoid that, it's always good to fill in the project information so that should there be anyone who's going to handle that project either with you or after you or before you, is able to just have what we can call a snippet of that project so that it becomes very easy for such a person to transition, okay? How do we do our project info? If we go to File, you'll find that tab called Info, and you'll get the project info, okay? As you can see, it's more of like a questionnaire or a table that you need to fill, okay? So filling is just, that's why I said, if you are not competent in basic typing, then you might even struggle here, okay? Because writing your name, instead of writing it within 5 seconds, will take 1 minute, because you have to look for each letter and type where it is and realize nimekosea, even don't know how to backspace, you don't know how to space, blah, 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 okay? So here is just nothing but word, it's just more of a word processing item, okay? So project name, I can say proposed basic modeling. I'm saying so because that's what you're going to do for this term, okay? Now, maybe the project name is more than one line. Maybe I just want to say proposed basic modeling. I want to mention the year, I want to mention the term. And even, yeah, I want to mention the year, the term, okay? So it becomes very difficult to create new lines or new lines here, okay? So in such a situation, you should use what we call the multi-line, okay? So if I click these 3 dots here, I'll get the multi-line and I will continue, okay? So I can say BIM 2A, I'm in class EAE stroke 2020, and then I can say it's January 2022 to March 2022. So as you can see, using the multi-line, I can put various information in their own line. And if I say, okay, while I might not see it there, if I click the multi-line, I will see it properly, okay? I hope we are together up to that point. Project description. This one, maybe, and say this project matches our Studio 2A activities, which include, then again, I can start one. So I expect you to list them. 2, 3. So as you can see, using the multi-line, I can give a clear explanation, okay? Normally in our offices, we usually have the IDs and the codes. So for you, maybe I want you to just create a phantom system, okay? The key thing is that I want you to fill in, because it's just a question of typing, okay? I want you to fill in most of this information. Site information, you can ignore it for now. Building, ignore it for now. Contacts will want your information. The client detail, assume that the ATL is your client. So put all that information for your client, okay? So that is a process of filling in the project info. I expect all that information to be complete before Friday, okay? Now with the project info, we can import, we can export, okay? For example, if I'm done with this, and for me, most of the times that information will be replicating itself, I can easily export it and I save it as, for some of us who like issues of the advanced form of BIM, for some of us who like issues of programming, you must have you know what XMLs are. So I can write here project standard project information. And I can use this file in another, if I start a new project, I can just import it. If I import, it's just the same thing. So if I import, it does be a replica of what we have. Okay, so that import export helps you to move all this information into another file in the event that you want, instead of sitting down and copy pasting and typing afresh. you can use that tool to sort out that. Last but not least, you might find information that is important, but is not amongst the basic ones given here. When you have such a situation, you just add, okay? So in this case, I can add, okay? Maybe for this, I can say, who is a project lecturer? Can write there, Architect Oyuga. So as you can see, it gives you freedom. You can even add information that was not previously there, okay? So that one, I've added information on the project, okay? If I want to add information on the client, I click the client and then now say here, write the client Google pin. Okay. Then go to Google and download the pin and place it there. I mentioned it because in the project info, as you can see, I can add information that is relevant, but it's not here, okay? So please ensure that you fill in, and things like the Google pin, kindly ensure that you add. Let's put it this way, creatively add for me at least 10 other information that is not in the template, okay? So add for me 10 new information. It's up to you to see what you'll add, okay? So I think with that, we are done with the project info. Any question? Let's handle project notes. Let's handle layers. Let's handle story settings, okay? In fact, we'll handle the project note and project location when we are dealing with our site. Now, project notes. Along the way, you'll be building information about your project. And I'll give an example. You have a project that you are handling. You went to site. I might want to document, I went to site on this date. I noticed A, B, C, D, okay? Maybe you have done a design, the client has requested for some changes. You have to document. And there are reasons to this, that's the same thing I said about project info. When a file is collaboratively done, the project info helps in someone who does not have the information about the project to know your project. That's the same thing with the project notes. Now this one becomes very detailed and very particular, okay? And I want to quickly show you how to use the project notes. You come to File, Info, Project Notes. So I say project notes is surely a Word file. The key thing is normally gives the date and the time, okay? So it's just word processing. I can say that today I went to site, right? I noticed that sewer was overflowing on the site. We might need to raise our landscaping. So as you can see, it's just a question of just giving information about your project, okay? So once I finish, just close it, okay? If I want to write another thing, just come again, project notes. As you can see, that one is already there, but you are given another time, okay? Client asked us to change the orientation of the building also of the sun. I'm done. By the time you are done with this project, you will have thousands of project notes. but someone should be able to, even if you are not there, if I go through the project notes, I can get a history of the project. Okay. So for your case, I want you to at least generate at least 10 different project notes. I know that this is work you'll do over a span of 2 or 3 days. So please ensure that you generate, as you are working randomly, just some project notes about your project. I think that's a straightforward thing. The second thing that I want us to cover is the pen set. As I said, the pen set is very important because if you don't know how to organize your pen sets, your work will always be a mess, okay? The students always don't ignore, they always find it tough because by the time I'm asking you to print your work, everything is a mess. And it's rejected. You have to reprint it again, or you have to fail, and after all, do it all over again, okay? So I will want us to be keen when going through the pen set so that we learn and know what is expected of us. Now, as I said, this document I will share with you has 2 tables. The first table is the scale and the size, okay? So as you can see, the emphasis is laid on the scale and the size. So for the size, we have 20 columns from column 1 to column 20. As you can see, different scales have different sizes, okay? Let's see, look at scale 1 to 50. 1 to 50, we start at a 0.2, then 0.2, then 0.3, all the way to 2.0. Scale 1 to 1 is a 0.2, 0.5, 0.8, a 1, 1.3, it goes that way up to 2. Column 8 is 2 millimeters thick, and we retain it as 2 millimeters thick. So as you can see, there's a pattern, okay, of conforming to these pen weights, okay? A good student by now should know the meaning of a pen weight. As Mr. Moria said, a good student by now should have invested on architectural pens from a 0.2 millimeter thick to a 2 millimeter thick. With those pens, once we start using them properly, then maybe the pen weight things will make sense, okay? Because it's basically the thickness of the pen. But most of the times you'll understand it properly if you use it manually. So it's not a theory thing that you go and start cramming certain formulas. No, you learn how to do it on the table manually, then you'll find that it will be very easy to know how to use those pens, okay? So for me, it's important that we invest on those pens. As you saw in our work yesterday, we asked you to use both pencils and pens. Going forward, there are some works that will insist on the pens, okay? And definitely, because we'll be having thicknesses and what have you, we'll start using the various types of pens, okay? Now, the second table is for the colors. As you can see, we'll use 12 tables and we'll reserve the 13th one, okay? So have that one at the back of your mind when we are doing our pen sets so that you are able to do your work properly, okay? So for me, I will start with scale 1 to 50. And I will do all the pens. I will also do maybe 3 colors. I might not be able to do all the colors so that I'm able to cover everything, okay? And as you can see, those colors have meanings. So I'm going to do 3 colors that we'll be able now to see the difference, okay? Now, at scale 1 to 50, column 1 is a 0.2, column 2 is a 0.2, then from there, they go up to 2.0, okay? So let's go back to our Archicad. How do you access our pen sets? Our pen sets is one of the items under element attributes, and you can see it there, it's called pens and color. Now, our default template comes as white, the way you are seeing it, okay? Now, this white, we have usually around 260 pens, okay? Yes, there are 20 columns and 13 rows, okay? So ideally there are 260, only that a number of them, the 5 last palettes are not active, okay? So that's why there will be 225, okay? Now, each palette or each cell is coded. If you look at what is happening here, you can see right now it's 149. If I click there, it's 91. So it's actually pen number 27, pen number 144, pen number 197, pen number 238, pen number 248, okay? Each pen has 3 items. It has the color, it has a size, it has a description. Okay? Again, each pen has 3 characteristics or 3 characters: the color, the weight, the description. Okay? Let's go back to our PDF. Our PDF has the color on the second table. It has the weight on the first table. It has the description on the second table. So please ensure that your pens match what is in our PDF. And I will want to show you how we do that, okay? Let's start with scale 1 to 50. You said scale 1 to 50, you have a 0.2, 0.2, then 0.3 to 2.0. Let's go back to our Archicad. Now, the colors, the first row is black, the second one is red, the third one is yellow. Those are the standard colors for normal work, for new works or hot water systems, for demolitions. So let me do that. I will take the first row. While I can individually do each one of it, I mean, it will be very tedious, okay? So it will be doing this one 20 times. So to avoid that, for some of us who have used word processing and Excel, you know that if you hold on Shift, you can select various things, okay? So I'll click the first palette, hold on Shift, and click the last one in one row, okay? So I've selected from number 1 to number 20. Now, because I know all of them will be red, I'll come here and change the color to red. Say okay. Okay, I know their pens in terms of sizes change, but I know that in terms of description, they are the same. So I can even take it there, say normal color. No, sorry, it's supposed to be black. See, I'm also confusing myself. The first row is black. So this one should be black. So let me do it again. So I'll click from there to here, and then I'll click the palette for color, and then I'll select black, and then say okay. Okay, then I'll say normal color. Okay, while doing this, you'll notice that under the pen sets, we now have 2 pen sets. One is a default one that we had, another one is custom, basically the new one that you have created. Okay, so we have an option of saving it right now, or we can finish what we are doing, then save it. Okay, remember that this one is related to our scale 1 to 50. Okay, so allow me to do the red one. So I'll do the same. I'll select that to that. I'll change the color to red. I'll say okay. In terms of description, I'll just take that one. For description, I will just say new works or hot water. Okay, let me do the last one, the yellow one. Okay, again, I will select the first one, the last one. I'll come and change the color. I will pick yellow. If I say okay, what is the yellow one for? The yellow one for is for demolitions. So I'll come here and say demolitions. Okay, so and so on and so forth. Okay, we have 12 clean rows. You have the 13th one. So you'll just conform to what we have here. Okay, I will not do everything for you. but just ensure that all those 12 rows are properly colored. Now, I want us to put the pen weight, okay? Now, when we have scale 1 to 50, for each column, regardless of the color, it conforms to the weight given, okay? So what does that mean? It means that now, instead of selecting horizontally, I will select vertically. So from there, 1 to 12. Remember, we'll have changed this ones in colors. So this one will be a 0.2. Okay. Again, you can click just to confirm that has changed. Then again, that one to row 12, it's another 0.2. Then this one to that one is a 0.3. This one is a 0.4. Allow me to reach at 0.5 because it's just that repetitive, okay? And maybe allow me to do the last 3, okay? This one I know is a 2, so I'll come here and type 2. This one is a 1.9, 1.9. This one is a 1.8. Okay. I want you to notice something. For the first row, the numbers are from 1 to 20, okay? So at scale 1 to 50, we normally, apart from the first column, we normally mimic those numbers, okay? So basically, it's times a factor of 0.1, okay? So at number 10 will be 1.0. Number 20 will be 2.0, okay? So for scale 1 to 50, just that will quickly guide you in ensuring that all the pens are properly done, okay? So what does that mean? It means that if I click, for example, like number 23, it's a 0.3 pen and it's red in color, okay? If I take like that one, it's a 0.2 pen, black in color. What I'm noticing is that then the description you have to do for each one manually, okay? So maybe I will not ask you to do all of it, but just do maybe randomly for around 10, okay? So that you just show me that you are able to do it, okay? So once you've been able to create that pen set, remember that that pen set is for scale 1 to 50, and it has a code. I will come and save it, okay? So how do I save it? I will say store as, okay? And I'll give it a name. Remember, I said that you'll use your surname, so Oyuga. Number 1 to 50 is 008, okay? So I'll say Oyuga 008. Then I'll say it's scale 1 to 50. Maybe I can say it's at 1 to 50. So if I say store a new pen set called your surname -008 at scale 1 to 50, okay? That will mimic all the pens that we need to use at scale 1 to 50. So you'll do that for all the pens. As you can see, I will advise you to start with the 1 to 50, because from there it's very easy to do the others, okay? So, okay, let's go to layers. Now layers, it might not be so much relevant right now because we'll not be doing a building. Nevertheless, you need to learn how to do layers, okay? Now, when you model, you always strive as much as possible to break down the building into some logical units, okay? And the best way of breaking down the building is by looking at the various building elements, the various building components, and the various building services. At times, even the elements, you go down to breakdown, and I'll give an example. If I'm doing walls, I might be having masonry walls, I might be having timber walls, I might be having gypsum walls, I might be having RC walls in the same project, okay? So I go and even further break it down to that level, okay? So the essence of the layers is to ensure that each item is put in its rightful layer. So that if you want to manipulate your model, maybe you want to hide certain layers, maybe you want to extract certain information, it becomes very easy, okay? So how do we create our layers? We create our layers by going to, I hope it's design, then layers. Here is document layers. Then if I say layer, I say layers, it brings me to the layer tool, okay? Now this level allow me to introduce what we call the keyboard shortcuts, okay? Along the way, you'll find that like the layer on the right side of most of these things, you'll find certain things written. Like here, you can see Control-7. If I go to edit, if I say grouping, you can see Alt-G, Control-G. If I say display, that one does not have. If I go to move, drag, Control-D, Control-E, Control-M, blah, 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 blah. These ones are usually keyboard shortcuts that helps us move faster, okay? So with time, you'll have them in your head, okay? So that instead of always going here, you can just give a keyboard command and you'll be able to do it quickly. And I'll show it. For the layer, and you have seen I was struggling to get the layer because for me, I'm so much used to the keyboard shortcut that I don't need to go and look for it, okay? I just know that if I click Control-L, I'll get my layer. These things come out of experience. Don't sit down and go start cramming the keyboard shortcuts. They will come in naturally, okay? So for me, as you can see, the layer is Control-L. So instead of just clicking there, if in my workspace, I just click Control-L, the layer tool will be automatically brought, okay? So I want to create layers. Allow me to create 3 layers. Let's assume the foundation is done. So let's do the layer for the wall. Let's do the layer for the column. Let's do the layer for the beam. Let's do the layer for the slab. Let's do 4, okay? So if I say new, again, I need to code them using my surname. For BM2A, I'll be very particular. Anything that does not have your surname, it clearly tells me it's not your work, okay? So at this level, my interest will be how to create these things and owning them, okay? So in my case, I will say Oyuga. I like them in capital letters. It looks presentable. Then 01, then this one, I can call it wall. Okay, say okay. To make my work consistent, I can even just copy that and then create a new one, paste, and then just edit 002 column. 003 beam. 004 So as you can see, it's a very straightforward thing, okay? So for me, I just want to see your proficiency at this level in creating layers. So I will expect you to create for me 15 layers. Layers that are logical, okay? To ensure that you create for me 15 layers. Once you are done, just say okay. For now, I think that will be the task, just doing layers. Let me just quickly go through it. If you go to the website of maps.google.com, which I said you should even be far much proficient than me in some of these things, okay? If I click the satellite option, it will show me the satellite view, okay? Now, I want to randomly pick up a site. I just want to look for a site that is empty, not for grabbing, but just for our exercise right now. Now, let's assume that I'm seeing something like a truck there. This is the airport, so airports are a bit sensitive. That's JKIA. Maybe let me move towards This is Jericho Playground. I don't want to grab playgrounds. I don't know what this one is, but let's assume that this is where my site is. So just for the sake of the ones who are wondering what a pin is just the coordinates of that area. So what you do, you just right click and you copy those coordinates. You can copy them in whatever format. Most of the times, for example, that one, just copy, you can just, at this level, you can just reply. So I'll give an example. If it was, let me just reply to myself, okay? If I paste that there and submit, that is good enough, okay? Because all what I'll do, I'll just come and copy those coordinates, and then I'll come and paste them there. And if I click, it will take me to where your site is, okay? So let me just open a new Google map just to see that it's not magic. So as you can see, if I put the satellite option, I'm randomly placed. Let me even put myself in Mombasa. I don't know. This is pure market. This must be in Machakos, okay? There's a Malava shopping center in Machakos. For some of us who are always inquisitive, these things always make actually interesting. Malava's shopping center in Machakos. Why? Anyway, so if I paste the pin there, it will take me to where, so that red thing is the pin, okay? So there are two things that I want you to do about your site, okay? I want you to first of all give us an estimate of your site. And how do you do it? You do it by using another website called zoom.earth. So if I click zoom.earth, it's still a map website, but it's a bit cleaner. If I paste, now this one will not zoom you in, so you are the one who was supposed to, if you just click it, it will zoom in to where your location is, okay? As you can see, it has taken me to where our site is. I have to around a scale of, which is pretty sensitive. So there is my site. So I'll want you to give me to estimate the area of your site for now. But remember that we need a proper survey map so that you are very certain the size of your site, okay? So maybe you can also put for me the dimensions. As you can see now, you need to understand your site. So don't go and pick up a site that you have no understanding, okay? But for me, I can see that that is the corner, that corner. Okay, so that's around 97. That's around 73. That's around 75. That's around 98. So at this level, I have an estimate of my site. And number two, you'll give me the estimate of your area. Just following up on those corners. So I'll want a screen grab of this, okay? That at this scale, where you have maximized, I should be able to see the size, both the length and the area of your site, okay? So this one, you just use the sniping tool. For some of us who know how to use the sniping tool, and just take either rectangular, or you can even take the full screen. For me, let me just take rectangular. So that I just take what I need. All the information that I need is that. Okay, you will save it. Again, using your name. For yoga. Site size and dimension. Is to generate the contours of your site. How do we generate the contours of your site? Again, you'll go to so I hope that you are taking, even you are writing down the names of these websites. Usije kunianza kuniambia mwalimu sikuelewa, because that will not communicate. Okay, so again, you'll in that website for contour map creator, you'll paste the coordinates. Now I need to copy them. Let me paste them there. If I paste again, they will take me to my site. There it is. Okay. But now I'll want to generate the contours of my site. Okay. How do we do it? We do it by sampling, giving the northwest corner and the southeast corner. So how do you do it? You just click somewhere at the top there. It will give you that red pin, and at the bottom here. Just ensure that the box that it gives covers your site. Okay. For now, you're just interested in the site. Okay. So once it covers, you'll just say get data, so that it will automatically fill in the coordinates of the northwestern corner and the southeastern corner. And with that, it normally automatically gives some contours. Okay. Though those contours are usually not right, because what it's doing is just splitting the area into 7 levels. While in actually contours, the ideal way is usually to use the contour interval. Okay. So what you need to come and do is to come to this third option, and let us be keen about this. Okay. You will come and get a contour interval and give us a contour interval, let's say like 1 meter. Okay. And then you redraw. So as you can see, with a contour interval of 1 meter, it has shown me how the contours are behaving. But most importantly, the color code. 1634 is higher than 1633. So it tells me that this part is lower, then this part is higher. Okay. Now, this site is relatively flat, or maybe, yeah, it's relatively flat. That's why with a contour interval of 1 meter, we have nothing. Okay, so I have to reduce the contour interval to 0.5. If I redraw, as you can see, we start having some contours. Again, the red means it's the highest areas, the blue are the lowest. Okay, so without doubt, I can comfortably say that this, if it's a playground or whatever site, is lower than this area. Okay, but again, for me, it's not good enough. So I'll push it again to a contour interval of 0.2. I hope by now you know what a contour interval is, and then I'll redraw. Okay, as you can see, the contours increase, but now we see a certain pattern. This part is flat. Okay, then from there we have a small mound, and these other parts go higher. Okay, let me push it to 0.1. And now it gives me a clear idea of how my site behaves. Okay, so in terms of the lowest, this is the lowest part. In terms of the highest, this is the highest part. Okay, so for now, my interest will be just getting this information as it is. Okay, now for the sake of you using this information again, I will ask you to save it. Okay, so you can save it as my studio site. Okay, let's see what happens if I change resolution. As you can see, it's made a bit bigger. So I'll ask you to look for a resolution that balances, because I'll want you to take a screenshot that takes this information, and most importantly shows us your map. Okay, so definitely that resolution is big, so I have no option but use that one. Okay, so for now I would want you to do that for me. Okay, and try and zoom in your site as much as possible, but make sure that we can see the two corners. So I think that's the best I can get. Okay, so I'll want you to take a screenshot again of this, and most importantly, ensure that we have all this information. Ensure that we have this information, and most importantly, ensure that we have a contour map. Okay, this is important because most probably the next class I can jump some stages, but I will want us to generate our contour map. Along the way, we'll do it manually so that we understand the correlation between the two. Okay, so again, I will use my sniping tool. I will say new, and then I need all this information. So I will take that information and save it as Oyuga site contours. Save.